Hey everyone, if this is your first time, welcome to my medium income reveal for September. If you've been here before, welcome back. I hope you're looking forward to seeing what I've earned. I know I am. I did quickly look at my stats a couple of times this month. The temptation was too much for me, but I am super excited to actually see what the payment is and yeah, see what's what this month. So I'll just wait a couple seconds and see if anybody has any comments while I'm waiting. Just a quick reminder, the format of this is going to be going into Medium, going into my payment, seeing how much I earned for September. I haven't looked all month, even though I've really wanted to. And then after that, I've got some time for Q&A. So if you've got any questions about, it can be related to the payment, like what was your top earner, stuff like that. But if it's anything more like, how do you come up with ideas, or how do you spend your time between your cat and your writing, anything like that is a fair game as well. Okay, let's go in. I will start to share my screen. Hello to everyone who just said hi. Let's see here, medium.com. I've got the new homepage up. I don't really know how I feel about it. No, I know how I feel about it. I do not like it. Okay. Minimize this. Okay. Hopefully everyone can see my screen without zooming into infinity. No, hang on. That's not right. Bear with me. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, everyone should be able to see my homepage now. Moment of truth. Let's go in. Medium partner program. I always get this message. It always terrifies me. I'm like, what about the 500 stories I've written? Okay, September. And here's the total. Oh my gosh. I think that's the most I've ever earned on Medium. Okay, yeah, the second biggest month I ever had was $3,300, $3,700. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh my gosh. All right, I'm so excited to do something really boring, like put that in my savings account, but that's awesome. That's like more than I make with my my day job, so that's pretty cool. $3,700, $3,723.94, in case anybody's watching this without visuals. All right. So this one was surprisingly my biggest one. Can I view the stats for that one? Yeah, that one went, I would say, like viral in August. So if I look at how much it earned in September, got 22,000 views and $700. Wow, pretty cool. And then this one, the only reason I know that this did as well as it did was because I saw it, like I got notifications on Twitter a ton that people were like commenting on it, which was pretty fun. I always like to see, like, even though the spike, like I always like to look at this as proving that the people who read stuff later are they give you more money for your story. So even though I only got 300 views on September 30th, that amounted to $25, which is pretty awesome. All right. Yeah, so these, and then this one, sorry, I'm going to keep going through these. This one I actually wrote like in June, and it just had this massive spike. Wow, okay, that explains that, because I was like, I wrote that in June. I really hoped it would do well. It didn't do that well. I don't know what is making it do this now, but I certainly will not be complaining. That's pretty cool. All right, okay, so I will do some Q&A now. So if you've got any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. I'll have a quick look and see if we have anything. Axar wants to know, will there be giveaways? I don't even know what I would give away. If anybody wants a giveaway, please feel free to be like, please do giveaways of XYZ. I'd like to do that. I can't believe that's my biggest month ever. I only wrote like, I want to say 12 stories, so we can count them. In case you don't use this, I really recommend that everyone uses this the Medium Enhanced Stats Chrome extension because it shows you both claps and also when you published. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, because this one I published today. Gosh. All right, some questions. When did I start writing in general, and especially on Medium? Okay, so they're kind of the same time, actually. I started writing on Medium and in general September 2018, so 2 years and a couple weeks ago, actually. The first month I was on Medium, I made $3. So look how far we've come. She wants to know, curation is taking a lot of time this time. You experiencing the same thing? At the risk of sounding ungrateful, no, I'm not. I get curated like within a couple of hours most times I publish. I think the reason behind this is because I experience a very high level of curation. So the curators know that if I write something, it's almost certainly going to be curatable. So I go into like the speedy curation queue. Please talk about the tax forms you have to fill in while making a Medium partner account. Unfortunately, this is totally out of my wheelhouse. I obviously uploaded my own tax information. I'm a US resident, so I did that. I have literally no idea about any other country, any other tax forms. Much to my regret, I decided to study biology instead of tax accountancy. So Junaid, I'm really sorry, but this is something I can't help with. Where are we? I did reply to your email, you did, but did not hear back. Where should we start with your learning experience to teach us? Real estate technology. It depends where you are in your reading/writing journey. If you're brand new to Medium, I've got a ton of videos that are entitled like Medium for Beginners and things like that. If you're more advanced, you want to get into publications, you want to look at curation, I have videos about that as well. And if you're just like, oh, you know, I need an editor, I can recommend some editing services for you. So it's hard for me to say where you should start because it really depends on where you are in your journey right now. How many posts did I publish so far? I think this should be able to tell me. This is my Medium Enhanced stats. So I've published 513 articles since I started just over 2 years ago. So make of that what you will. Is there a chance for my work to get into a pub without me sending them directly? Like, do pubs handpick your work on their own? Some publications do. So for example, I know the Startup, Illumination, and a couple of other ones, if they see that you've published and you've gotten curated into a certain topic, they will send you a little private note and say, hey, I love this story. We'd be honored to include it in our pub. And then you can add it to their pub. Otherwise, I rarely self-publish. I almost always publish inside of a publication because I find that it makes my stories do better. But it's up to you. Does writing as a ghostwriter, not publicly sharing who you are, kill any chances of making money with this? Seems like it. Greg, it depends what you mean by a ghostwriter. So I do some ghostwriting for other people, and it typically pays very well for me. I guess get their benefits otherwise, because otherwise why would they be paying me to do it? I also write under a pen name. So like Zuli Rain is not my real name. I picked it out because I thought it sounded nice. And it's very uncommon, unlike my real name, which is very common. So I guess it depends. I'm not entirely sure what you mean by ghostwriter, but hopefully that clears things up for you. With the new look of Medium, it seems as if followers will be a big thing. Yeah, I honestly don't know how I feel about the new Medium profile page. So one thing I like is that there's this latest from following. So I've got my people, I've got some publications, I've got good stuff up here that I can be like, yeah, I want to look at that. So I'm hoping that that's going to make it a lot easier to just find stuff that I think or know I'm going to be interested in. I think it's also going to encourage people to self-publish rather than posting in publications, and I will show you why. If you see here, The Atlantic, Reddit squashed QAnon by accident. So who wrote this? I don't know. I only know that they published in The Atlantic. Same with this, same with this. These two are different. So Emma Austin has her own publication called Love Emma, entitled after her. So when I see that she's publishing this, I know it's her who's publishing this. Danny Forrest self-published this one, so that's how I can see that it's Danny Forrest. So I think it's actually going to incentivize people to publish on their own or start their own publications. How do you pitch publications like 1-0? I write them an email. So I have my title, I have pitch, Zuli Rain, and then I have the title of my proposed story. I fully draft it out. So I write the entire story and I give them like a 3-paragraph explanation of why I think they should accept it. I say, I think this is interesting because XYZ. The summary of the pitch is this, that, the other. Let me know if you have any feedback. Here's the link. Done. It works sometimes and sometimes it doesn't. It just depends how busy they are. If your title happens to catch their eye. I've been published in 1-0 a couple of times with this method. And yeah, it's, some hits, some misses. Oren wants to know how old I am. I am 25. When you're not a paying member on Medium, is there any uploads restrictions? Kieran, no. And this is because Medium, the partner program, how you get paid for the stories you put on there, and Medium membership are two totally separate things. So you can earn money for writing without paying Medium a penny. I recommend people sign up for Medium membership because I love to read stuff on Medium and I like to support people who write on Medium because many of them support me. And by paying $5 a month, I get unlimited access to stories that I know I'm probably going to enjoy, and a little bit of my money goes to the writers whose stuff I like. However, there's no restriction because the two are totally separate processes. So you can be a Medium member without being part of the Medium partner program and vice versa. Can you see how much you made? Oh, it's another one from Kieran. Yes, I can. Actually, I can, in case anybody is showing up to this late, I will quickly do whoops, that's my stats. I'll do a quick recap of how much I've earned. So if we scroll way down, you can see the very first month I was on Medium, I made a whole $3.32 and then started making a little bit more. This was the first month that I realized, wow, I could actually make some real money on Medium. So I started churning out content like there was no tomorrow, just story after story after story. Like I was publishing twice a day most days. I couldn't keep it up. So you'll notice here, I stopped writing in October. So I stopped earning money pretty much. I mean, I still earned a ton, but very little compared to how much I earned. I started back up in May, and then I was like, okay, so I don't have to write twice a day if I want to earn money. In fact, I'm better off if I just write less, but put more effort into what I am writing. So these months I only published like, I don't know, between 8 or 12 stories per month, as opposed to like 40 or 50 like I was doing. And then this is how much I made this month. Sorry, I'm still like basking in the glow of earning money from writing. Pretty special. Do I find the read time to matter? I will be honest, I don't put a lot of thought into read time. I write until the story is done. And that typically for me tends to hover between 4 to 7 minute read time. I have seen, so like if we look at the homepage, actually, I don't know, maybe the homepage doesn't show read time anymore. No, it does. Okay, so if we look at the homepage, yeah, it's 3 to 7 minutes here, 4, 5, 6. But I think that's because honestly, like 1,000 to 1,200 words for a story is fairly typical. So you can write a lot longer and enjoy it, and people will perhaps read it, and you can write a lot shorter. And like, look at this one, 3 minutes. That's only like 600 words. And then here below it is 12 minutes. So short answer, no, I don't think it does matter. Happy birthday to Sept. I'll do a little shout out. Which publications give my articles more curation and earnings? Great question, Ola. I find that Mind Cafe is the best one for me in terms of earnings, because when I put a story in there, most of my viral stories have been in Mind Cafe. That being said, it's not like every single story I put in Mind Cafe goes viral. So yeah, here's one in Mind Cafe. This one was in Postgrad Survival Guide and did absolutely phenomenally. Yeah, here's another. I wouldn't call this viral, but pretty popular in Mind Cafe. Yeah, so you'll see this one like in Mind Cafe. It did fine, but not amazingly. But my top story of all time was written in May. Here we go, 165K. That was in Mind Cafe. So those are the ones that I find tend to give me the most money. In terms of curation, PS I Love You, Better Marketing, Mind Cafe, Postgrad Survival Guide, Entrepreneur's Handbook. Trying to think of any others. Those are like my favorite pubs. And I almost always am curated when I write in those pubs. Junaid wants to know if I pitch to publications after writing the whole article, and can I pitch an article after self-publishing? Yes and yes. I normally pitch drafts, but for some instances, so for example, where is this one? The viral, this one. This one was happening right then. It was on TikTok, it was viral, it was happening at that moment. So I self-published, and then I was like, oh, I really wish that Better Marketing would take this. So I was like, hey, I know this is already published, but I think it's a really good fit for Better Marketing because it's to do with marketing and social media, and they love that stuff. So they took it. Greg wants to know if I tell my real life friends if I'm Zuli Rain on Medium and hear my articles. No, I don't, because I'm very self-conscious that I'm a blogger. There's kind of like a stigma around blogging, especially when you're blogging about like, I don't know, Instagram, profoundly lonely people. So I was like, a few of my friends know it exists and know I'm on here and read some of my stories. And I've also made my own writing friends under this pen name. So obviously they know me, they know my pen name, they know my stories. But for the most part, no. I'm just not because of like any sensitive material or anything like that, but I don't know. I like to keep some things for myself. Real Estate Technology wants to know if I write and edit the article myself, or do I get someone else to edit? Do I search keywords first? There is a lot of information on my YouTube videos, but it's hard to find, so I'm happy to answer here. I do edit my stories myself. If I have really high hopes for it, I'll normally ask one of my friends to edit it for me, one of the few friends who knows that I write under a pen name. But the way I edit stories is I'll write it, and then I'll give it a couple hours to rest, so to speak. And then I will read it aloud to myself as slowly as I can. And this really helps me tighten it up. It helps me take out the fluff. It helps me spot any lingering typos or structural issues. I don't search keywords. What I do, like for example, 6 Habits of Profoundly Lonely People, what I did with this one, when I was drafting it, 6 Habits of profoundly, wasn't it? Profoundly Lonely People. I search for that and I see if anything like major has come up already, and if not, then I go ahead and write it. Zaki wants to know if there are any good places to make nice looking graphs to include in Medium articles. For my graphs, I typically use R. It's a statistical programming language. I've made some really neat graphs, and if you have any coding experience at all, it's super easy to learn if you don't already know it. Like the ggplot package is so intuitive, and it makes these really nice professional looking graphs. If you're not a coder and you don't want to download a whole bunch of stuff for free, I'm just saying, I also use Google Sheets to generate graphs and make neat stuff. I do know Danny Forrest does a lot of analysis. Danny Forrest, let's find him. Where I know he does, he's got I'll see his recent stuff. He's done some like analysis on Medium articles, and he uses, let's see, where are we? I know the one I'm thinking of. Maybe this one. Yeah, so he does like, gosh, it's a big image. Yeah, so in here I can tell that he's using either Excel or like a Google Sheet, and that's what he uses to make some pretty neat looking graphs for his stories. Where do I get my inspiration for articles, apps, websites, platform suggestions? I actually get most of my inspiration from two places, Twitter and Medium. On Twitter, that's where I get like my sort of less evergreen, more trendy stuff. So I've written a couple stories like the viral math girl on TikTok. There was this fireman who was debunking a conspiracy theory. I loved that. So I wrote about that. I saw that on Twitter. Chris Evans' nudes leaked, bless him, or he leaked them himself by mistake. I wrote about that. I got all that from Twitter. When I'm looking for stuff that's more evergreen, I tend to see what's popular on the platform as well as what's missing from what's popular. So I see a lot of stuff about like X number of habits of Y type of people or relationships or whatever. And then I look at that and I'm like, what isn't there already? What has been missing? And then I use that to kind of reverse inspire my way into the more evergreen type of content. Where do I get my thumbnail pictures for my articles? I almost always use Pexels. I do not use Unsplash. I do not use Pixabay. I use Pexels. I love it. It's the easiest for me to use. I find great pictures there all the time. And I look in their trending stuff when I'm trying to find something that's a little newer and a little less used, because I know a lot of the images on Unsplash especially are just everywhere on Medium. So I really like Pexels. I'll show you. Pexels.com. I mean, look how beautiful these are. Sometimes, actually, I should have listed this as my third inspiration place. Sometimes I look at these and I'm like, what would I write? Like, what's happening with this? What story would I write to match this black and white camera on knit textile? You know, what's going on there? So, where is that question? All right, I'm going to do questions for 7 more minutes, and then I have to go eat my lunch because I am very hungry. Trying to look for how much do people writing AI and coding algorithms earn like towards data science? Very hard for me to tell because I only have access to my own income information. I have written some for in towards data science, and what I've written for them has performed fairly well and therefore earned some money. And I know of other people who have gotten stories into those platforms who write more about tech-focused pieces. It does well. There's a real audience for that kind of story on Medium. There's no guarantee though. I can't promise anything. It's not like if you write about AI, you'll do 10 times better than if you write about relationships, because it matters a lot on how well you write, who's reading your stories, how much they read it. So hard to compare because I don't have the information, and it just varies more on your audience rather than the topic, if that makes sense. Is there a minimum frequency below which a writer should not publish to? That's a good question. And I would argue, I mean, as long as you're publishing at all, I think you're fine. Even if that's just like once a month, you're going to be, because Medium, it's not like Twitter, it's not like Facebook, it's not like Instagram, where if you don't get a view in the first day, nobody's ever going to see it. On Medium, I'm recommended stuff from stories that were written, you know, like months ago or even years ago in some cases. Old stuff is constantly being recommended to me. So if you write really well and you publish, I don't know, like 4 times a year, those stories are still going to be shown to people. You're still going to be gathering followers. You're still going to be earning money. So as long as you write with any frequency at all, whether that's, you know, once a quarter or 3 times a day, you're still going to be, that's still going to be good. Like, as long as you're writing at all is what I'm trying to get to, you'll be fine. So no, I wouldn't say that there's like a minimum frequency. Can you use images or designs from Canva? Yes, I have done this in the past. I tried. Amar, one of my favorite authors, he does some really neat like images. I don't know what he uses. I know it's not Canva, but like, look how cool these look. I think that one's just a stock one, but like he makes these himself, created by author. I mean, like, I don't know how he does that, but I try to do stuff like that in Canva. I don't think I'm using the same things he's using because I don't succeed. But for example, where are we? Michelangelo. I made this image here using Canva. You can see Michelangelo in there. I made that myself. I should probably be less proud of that, shouldn't I? It's not that good, but do Medium creators have an ideological bias? I don't know what you mean by this. They like good writing. They don't promote hate speech. They don't curate things with swear words in the title or that are sexually explicit. So in those terms, they do have guidelines that they adhere to. But in terms of like conservative versus liberal, I see stuff from both sides on Medium all the time. So my guess would be no. Are there topics that pay you more according to my experience? No, I'm always surprised. So for example, I used to think that self, the topic self, was one of the ones that paid the least because a ton of stuff is curated in self, like all the time. But then my most popular story ever was only curated in self. And that one paid me nearly $4,000. So like a non-insignificant amount, and just curated in self. And I used to think that stories that were, you know, in creativity did really well, but then like this one got published in media and social media and only got 605 views. So not that good. Look, I only got two views today so far. So no, I find that curation itself is necessary to go viral, but the topic that you're curated into is not that important. There's a lot of variation. Harris makes a great point. I 100% agree. Amar's going to stick out on the homepage because we all know what his like publishing image looks like, what that style is. So even if he's publishing in like Better Marketing, even if we don't see his name, we will see his image style. So I 100% agree with that. I think making your own images and making your own branding that way is going to be really important. Zaki asks, can an article go into more than one publication? No, not at the same time. So you can publish something in one publication and then publish it, like remove it and publish it into another, but it can only exist in one publication at any given point. Judy wants to know, my question is whether you always put the article on your blog first, then refer the audience back to your blog. So Judy, I think this depends on, like, if you're writing on your blog and you want to ultimately direct traffic back to your blog, then I would always write on your personal blog first and then import onto Medium, because then your personal blog is like the sole point of truth. If you're just interested in having it in as many places as possible, then I don't think it matters which one you do first. So that's the strategy I use. Hopefully that made sense. And hello right back to you from probably not as beautiful as Montana, but beautiful enough, Georgia. Brian wants to know if I use Grammarly Premium. No, I actually uninstalled even the regular one. So if you've noticed an uptick in typos, that's probably why, because it was making Chrome really slow for me. So I uninstalled it. But I never paid for the premium version because I thought the free version was really good. And yeah, I've not heard that it helps people massively to have the premium version. Zaki wants to know if it's necessary to have a real photo for my Medium profile, if you want to use a pen name. So for the way I got around this, I don't know if you can see. I wonder if I can zoom in. Can you see that? Barely. Maybe if I go to my profile. No, that didn't work as well as I was hoping for. But you probably can't see here very well, but I'm wearing a wig. Like I was at a murder mystery party at this when this picture was taken. So I'm wearing a wig and I've got on a lot of makeup and my outfit looks weird. So that's what I did to make myself like not instantly recognizable. Like, look, if somebody who didn't know that I was Zuli Rain came on this page and was like, huh, that picture is small and she's wearing a wig, they wouldn't immediately put two and two together. That being said, I have heard that people use images from like Pexels. So like one of my friends also is a pen name writer on Medium, and she just like Googled a random stock image of a woman and then just used that as her image. Are you writing in any subscription magazines or newspapers? I did write a story for Mind Cafe. They obviously are on Medium, but they have their own publication outside of Medium too. So I also ordered their like physical, I don't know why I'm doing this, the actual magazine, which I got to hold in my hands. So I've written for them. But other than that, no, the only place I write is Medium and my own blog. How do I like the new profile page of mine? Honestly, I find it intimidating. I am not a graphic designer. I do not have an eye for these kinds of things. So I really struggled and I was like, I don't know what to do. I want to be branded, but I don't know how. So I've hired someone who's going to be doing this for me. So hopefully soon I will feel happy about it, as opposed to right now, I feel stressed about it. So stay tuned. All right, last question I will answer, and then I will go get my lunch because I'm thinking about the sandwich I'm about to eat and I can't stop thinking about it. Awesome A asks how much success I've had in the startup publication. Personally, not that much. I know that there are some authors who do really well, but I myself have not, mostly because when I submit to them, they don't publish it. But if I self-publish, and it gets curated, then they get in touch with me to be like, hey, we would love your story. So for example, this one, my TikTok one, my firefighters one, got published on this day. And then I think I put it in the startup maybe like this day or this day. So as you can see, no real bump yet. Maybe one day it'll come, who knows? But not a huge amount of success personally. All right, thank you all so much for attending my earnings reveal. $3,700 is, I never thought I would make that much money. Like the first month when I made $3, that was the first time I'd ever been paid for writing. So that was like an incredible feeling. And to go from that to $3,700 is just like, I'm so thankful and I'm so grateful. And I want to say thanks to you for watching this, for reading my stories if you read them. You are the ones who make it all possible for me. So your support means the world to me. Look forward to doing this next month. I'll see you all there. Bye.